I never imagined in the last 43 weeks of losing weight, trying carnivore, and doing everything throughout this entire process that I'd be to where I am now. I started out at 435 pounds, and now I'm down to whatever I am this week. This week has been incredibly busy. I have had a lot going on. I've had several doctor's appointments. We're going to be going over those. One of those is for a sleep study, sleep clinic, a little bit of footage about what's going on in the clinic and stuff like that. And my overall experience with that. Let's see, something else that we've done this week was we went to the Costco Business Center and I did a really, really large meat haul. And I've been focusing primarily on priming this week. And priming is something new to me. It's something I've been talking to other carnivores about and trying to figure out exactly how it works and what I'm going to do after. So if I gain any weight this week, it's going to be really no surprise because quite often with priming, people tend to gain a little bit of weight. Some people gain up to 15 to 20 pounds. And I've talked to many people around the carnivore community about this type of stuff. And it's still a little bit confusing. But as far as I've been told, it's basically we're just eating, 2 to 3 meals a day. We're eating till satiated, sometimes a little bit more. And we're just trying to keep it strictly meat-based products and stuff like that. So hopefully everything is going to work out pretty well. I've been focusing on this for the last 5 days. Now, if I do go slightly off the rails, it's typically on the weekends. And this weekend we've been doing pretty good. But yeah, the fruits are going to have to definitely go by the wayside because they are not working for me. So I got to keep the fruits completely out of this diet. So another doctor's appointment I had this week was something that has to do with my hands and my feet. If any of you have been following, I have problems outside in the cold. Now this is something that's new to me. And this happened around week 20 of my weight loss journey. So this actually started happening before I started the carnivore diet. So if anybody's curious about that, I mean, it did happen before carnivore. It's just something that's going to be a problem. And there was a diagnosis. This isn't an official diagnosis, but it's something that we're looking into with me and my doctor. And it's called the Raynaud's phenomena or Raynaud's symptoms or something like that. And basically what that has to do with is discoloration, loss of blood flow to the fingertips and stuff like that. So your hands will get a lot colder. Sometimes they'll become discolored, when applying pressure and stuff like that. Now, I did go out and we got a new wedding ring. My wife's happy about that because my other wedding rings wouldn't fit. But when I take the wedding ring off, sometimes on the bottom of the palm, it might turn a little white down here. So I take this on and off periodically just to check the coloration of my finger. And for the most part, it doesn't seem to be creating a problem. So if it does start to create a problem, I will have to start taking this off in the middle of the night. That way, my finger will have a chance to readjust and then I can probably put it on the next day. So the one things my doctors have been mentioning right off the bat, the first thing we do when we get in the doctor's office, doesn't matter if it's a sleep clinic or just the general clinic altogether, we usually walk in, get our weight. But the weight wasn't what was really interesting to me. So since I've been doing weight loss and the carnivore journey, my blood pressure is just outstanding. So my latest blood pressures are around 131 over 77. And if you're a nurse or pretty familiar with blood pressure levels, that's pretty freaking amazing for a guy that's going to be turning 50 years old this year. I think that's awesome. But so far, every time, and I've had my blood pressure checked a couple times in the last week from a couple different doctors, and yeah, they're all saying like, "Wow, man, that's fantastic." But the sleep study in general, even that doctor there, he was pretty amazed with the how the blood pressure has come down. Now, initially, the blood pressure did start going down with the usage of CPAP usage when I first started all of this CPAP stuff, and that was before I even got the weight loss journey going. So we're going to have to get on into the sleep study that I had for the week, and I do have some stuff from the inside of the sleep clinic. Now, the reason that my CPAP usage and my sleep is all intertwined in this carnivore journey, is because the meats and fats, and you're skipping out on the seed oils and other nonsense type ingredients, it tends to lower inflammation. And that's lowering the inflammation in my sinuses, in my throat. I mean, just by reducing the size of my throat, which is technically inflamed because of my poor eating habits and stuff like that of the past. Also, your lungs, everything else becomes inflamed when you're just eating crap food. So since I've been doing the carnivore diet, a lot of that inflammation has gone away. I can breathe a whole lot better. And another great thing is I don't have to use an inhaler anymore. I used to have to carry an emergency inhaler, especially in the wintertime in the cold, dry air. So yeah, let's dive on in, and I'll show you guys around the sleep clinic and tell you a little bit about that. So I think the scariest part about being in this room and stuff like that is my first visit in here. Before I started CPAP therapy, I was suffering from having to urinate like every 45 minutes. So I was terrified to come in here. I was afraid I was going to have to get up and down throughout the night every 45 minutes to go to the bathroom. And not on top of that, I'm going to be wired up with wires all over my head. So every time I would have had to go to the bathroom, I would have had to unplug, walk over here to the bathroom and go to the bathroom. So it was terrifying for me. And I would imagine it would be for anybody else, but the urination symptoms went away as soon as I got on the CPAP over here. And it was just, I slept pretty much that entire night. I think I might have gotten up only once to pee throughout the night. And that's one of the most important things I want to be talking about here, is because I went through a lot to get to this point. I mean, to get my neck this small and get this follow-up sleep study done. So this is a big deal. We're gonna start the sleep study tonight without being hooked up to the CPAP machine, depending on how many apneas I have within so many hours, is if they're gonna put me on the CPAP and see if they can mitigate whatever apneas I'm having. And hopefully I don't have any at all. But normally when I'm at home, even though I don't really feel like I need it, I'm still using it. And even if I'm cleared to not use it, chances are I'm still probably gonna use it, because I feel like it just feels good to me now. Since I've been using it for over a year or two, it's just one of those things. It's not a big deal. But if the power should ever go out up here, and it does, or if we should go on a camping trip, it would be really nice not to have to use it and have to depend on it, and know that I'm going to be okay without it. So the device we're going to be using in here is going to be a ResMed VPAP, and they got a brand new humidifier chamber. They give you one of these for every patient that comes in. This gets tossed out at the end of the night, and then every time we come in, we get a new CPAP hose, and I will be getting another mask just for the study, and I get to take that home too in a little to-go bag. And these are the other little electric probes we're going to be hooking up that hook up into this contraption over here, so they can actually see what's going on. And I'm kind of like stuck in a room with cameras, so if you look way up here, we got this camera up there on the wall, and we got this one little light. It looks like it's shining white in this image right here, but it's actually a red light. But that way it's just enough light so they can actually see everything that I'm doing in bed. If I'm having problems or anything like that, they can just automatically come in and take care of me. All right, guys, so I'm in here getting ready to get my sleep study done. This is where I come in. This is the front door. And we got the exam gloves here. We got a pretty nice bathroom in here. Got a toilet, got a shower. I got me in the mirror, and I'm going to be ready to get wired up here before long. But this isn't a bad little place. Now, I guess the windstorm knocked out the TV set, so we got no TV, but normally they have a TV and stuff like that. Some artwork on the walls. And there's a nice comfy chair to sit in, to recline. That's just all my stuff there. We got a nice sleep number bed. And over there is going to be the CPAP and all the electronics they're going to be plugging me into. And this side of the bed, I'm not even sure what that little box is over there. I don't know. But so we're going to be getting wired up here. And I'll get a picture of that after I get all that stuff on my head. But all these little plugs here, and this stuff here turns into little goopy stuff. And then we hook it up to all these wires on the wall. So yeah. We'll keep you updated how this sleep study goes, and hopefully it goes okay. So I just got home from doing that sleep study, and if you've ever done a sleep study before, you know you're really not getting a whole lot of sleep while you're doing those. So yeah, we're definitely going to be popping the old CPAP mask on, and we're going to be going to bed for a little bit, and hopefully feeling a little bit better here pretty soon. Yeah, I'm tired. It's early in the morning. I need to take a nap, get some actual sleep, because even though I didn't have a bad night's sleep, it wasn't the greatest. So yeah. So if anybody's ever done a sleep study before or is a CPAP user, we all know that those sleep studies, you don't get a whole lot of sleep. Now, so the entire night is you're hooked up to all these probes. And I'll put an image of what I looked like while I was there. I mean, I had stuff just going on all over my body. We got probes down through the legs and stuff like that. And I also had some additional probes that were put on that I typically didn't have before, which was the chest strap, and I had a belly strap put on, and something else going under my nose and right around my mouth to measure the exhalation temperature of what was coming out of my mouth to see if that was an issue. So yeah, it's just a crazy experience. Now the great news about all this is that the entire sleep study went pretty good. The only thing that could make a hiccup is if I had more apnea events later on in this sleep study than early on, because if I had early apneas, they would have hooked me up to the CPAP machine, and then they would have done a titration study and some other studies to see if I need a new prescription for my CPAP. I don't know the full details of the entire study until I get back in and see the doctor. So on the next doctor visit, yeah, I'm definitely going to have more information on that, and we're going to talk about that whenever I get that information and it does come up. Now let's talk about what happened on the Costco shopping trip. Now we went to the Costco Business Center here in Anchorage, and it is absolutely amazing. It's a new option for us, especially for us carnivores here in town. They have a lot of inexpensive price meat. They have plenty of choices, different choices at right around $2.99 and below. They have a lot of expensive choices too, so it really depends on what you want to do. But when you walk in there, it's a big giant freezer refrigerator type room in the back of the Costco facility, and I'm walking around and I just see all of this meat just right there in front of you. So it's not like a hit and miss. You have to go to 3 or 4 different sections. It's literally all the meat in the store for the most part is right here. And you got 2 center aisles. You can walk around, and then you got like a horseshoe that wraps around the entire outside, and then you can just pick out, whatever types of meats you feel like. And it's just so many different options. And you should, if you do go to a Costco Business Center, take your time. And if you're doing this on a budget, always shop on the price point. So if I see something at $2.99 in a bulk package, similar to this beef stew meat that I got thawing out over here, then yeah, I'm going to purchase that. And then I'm going to find other $2.99 a pound options, and I'm going to purchase that as well. I mean, there was just a ton of stuff to choose from. So this is what we got for a carnivore grocery haul for $281 here in Anchorage, Alaska. Got top sirloin trimmed for a price of $2.97 a pound. Grass-fed butter. Got 2 packages of reindeer sausage. These are about $19.99 a piece. Some turkey breast for the kids' sandwiches. Bobby approved beef sticks. This here is for beef stew. That's $2.97 a pound. We got more Bobby approved beef sticks, chops. Some more sandwich meat. Got some ham. That's for the daughters' lunches. And of course, we got some all beef hot dogs. Got a whole bunch of omega-3 eggs. And this is kind of a new product up here I haven't seen before. 100% pure ground beef. This is supposedly halal meat as well. And the big giant tube for $29.99. And then here we got about 40 pounds of chicken wings at 99 cents a pound. So a lot of this stuff's going to go in the freezer. All right, let's get on into the weight loss or weight gain for the week, because when you're priming, you are going to gain a little weight, at least from my experience. This is what happened to me this week. So I did go out and I got on the scale, and I didn't do anything dramatic as compared to what I usually do on these videos. But yeah, we're going to get the weight and see how that goes. But for the most part, yeah, I'm weighing in right around 315 pounds for the week. So yeah, we're going to call it that. And then we're also going to go over the weekly weight update. So 315 minus 310.7, which was 310.7 was last week's weigh-in. So let's see, I gained about 4.3 pounds, which is quite good compared to what other people gain when they're priming, because I ate a whole lot more meats and fats compared to other weeks. I did add in a little bit of dairy, but I'm trying to eliminate dairy. I'm also going to be trying to cut back on coffee, because apparently coffee can affect neuropathy, or whatever this is that's going on with my hands. It's called Raynaud's phenomenon. So maybe if I cut out the coffee and the caffeine, this might improve a little bit. But the one thing that will improve is summertime, so then my hands won't be nearly as cold. In the very beginning of the weight loss journey, I was 435 pounds. So minus 315 pounds, that brings me down or up to whatever way you want to look at it, 120 pounds of weight loss, total weight loss in 43 weeks. Now, the really nice part about all this is I've still been able to maintain at least 120 pounds of weight loss throughout the 43-week period, which is amazing. So we're just going to keep on going with what we got, and hopefully everything's just going to work out for the best. So I'd kind of like your thoughts and opinions on what's going on over here at the Skechers store. Now, this is something I found doing a shopping trip when I was just looking for some new boots at the Skechers store, is that Skechers is advertising vegan footwear. Now, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's a mistake? Would they do better if they advertise carnivore type footwear? Do you think they ever would advertise carnivore type footwear? And does it really matter? I don't believe it really matters, in my opinion, but I just think it was kind of a funny thing, because me and the wife were there shopping for some extra work boots, which I have over here, by the way, and I'll show you those here in just a second. But we were walking around, and we were just puzzled, because we were looking at all these labels. They're like, wow, vegan, how do you have vegan shoes? Who the hell's eating the shoes? And it took us a second to realize that these shoes are being marketed to vegans, because I guess vegans don't want to buy animal products of any kind, either, whether or not it's shoes, clothing, or anything like that. So yeah, we just found that kind of interesting. And while I was there shopping, I was talking to some of the associates that were actually concerned about what I was talking about, because some of these shoes are really modeled after people that are over 300 pounds. The average footwear of a Skechers shoe is typically rated for a person around 150 pounds. So if you're over 150 pounds, the majority of Skechers are not made for you. So you have to start looking at other types of Skechers. And I really wanted to show the lady the difference between the shoes, and I'm surprised they aren't categorized in a way for people that are suffering from edema and other swelling type issues of the feet, because these shoes are extremely helpful and have been helpful throughout my weight loss journey. And I've been using Skechers products pretty much. That's about all I use for now. And even work boots, shoes that I wear in the house here, yeah, they're all Skechers, and they're all pretty much related to people that have edema or need a softer type shoe just to go to work. But another problem I've been suffering from is potential neuropathy. Now, neuropathy is numbness in the fingers and the feet, typically on the very extremities of the two of them. And I'm finding out that there's a lot of conflicting information as far as what we should eat when we're on neuropathy, because the further I got into it, the more confused I got, because a lot of the documentaries and type videos that I watched, they had a lot of conflicting information throughout the entire process of providing information. So one would say don't eat eggs, and then it would say eat eggs, and then it would say don't eat meat, and then it says, you know, if you eat more meat, you're going to reduce your inflammation, in the same exact post. So again, we're just going to have to figure that one out on our own, and hopefully just make the best decision overall. But that doctor's appointment was incredibly stressful, and I was losing my mind. My anxiety went through the roof last week. I was reaching out to other people in the carnivore community, trying to get their thoughts and ideas, sending emails to people and hoping to get some sort of information, you know, about their experience with neuropathy, because I believe my neuropathy didn't come from the way I'm eating. I believe it was there before I even started the weight loss journey. Being chronically inflamed like I was, and I was, my head was huge, my hands were really fat. I mean, everything about me was fat. My feet were just swollen and full of water. And I believe that's what created 90% of the damage in my feet. But the good news is that most neuropathy can be recovered from with some therapy. And that's going to bring me into the vibration plate I got this week. And I'm pretty happy that I did get the vibration plate, because so far I've been using it for 15 minutes to half an hour every single day, especially before going out. And it has increased my ability to walk by about 75%. And I actually look forward to going out of the house and going shopping after using this plate. Now I'm going to use this plate for a week, at least until next weekend's video, before I actually do a review of the plate. Now this is a Life Pro product, something that Bill Knott and Todd at Carnivore Cure, they both recommended this plate, and we talked about it back and forth a little bit, and they both said I should get some really decent results out of it, and I'm really happy with the product so far. Well, like I said, I want to use this product for a period of time. My weight right now is 315 pounds, so the machine is actually handling that weight quite nicely, and some of these are rated up to 500 pounds or so. So I mean, that's an important topic as well, and I'm going to go over that in better detail in a follow-up video. It might be one of the extra videos that I create, just it's going to be wrapped around the vibration plate all by itself. So like I said, the wife and I, we went to the Skechers store, and they usually have like a buy one half off type deal. Now these boots here, they were like 100 and can't remember now, 100 and no, these boots were actually $89.99. So we bought a pair of these, and we also bought some shoes for the wife, which were half off. So the total purchase up here in Alaska was $109.98. That's really not a bad deal. Now the boot I got, it has a similar bottom, and I really don't recommend these type bottom shoes for anybody that's going to be walking in and out of the house, because this typical tread design tends to grab onto all the little pieces out in the yard, like the sand and the dirt and the dust. And if there's any snow or mud, you're gonna make a mess when you're walking in the house. So you'll be putting these on and taking them off at the door every time you come in and out. But as far as an overall work boot out of the house, now they work pretty well. And you know, I'm trying these boots out because my other boots, they're not made out of leather. If they were made out of leather, they'd be lasting a whole lot longer. And those are the slip-on boots that I like to wear for work, especially in the wintertime, because I can just slip them on and take them off. But these here, I'm just hoping that the uppers right through here holds on a lot better, because the other boots were just falling apart right through here. And I don't work outside. I work as a truck driver, so I'm not sure, and I even questioned that with the people at Skechers. Like, why are these boots falling apart? I haven't had them for that long. I've only had them for about a year, and I'm a truck driver. I don't get outside. I'm not jumping into ditches and getting them all covered in dirt and gravel. So that is concerning, you know, about the product. And you know, the nice thing about these boots here is I don't believe these are actual vegan type boots. You know, this stuff here, it did not come with this label. And there's a little bit of information here on the cards. So I believe that some of this product here on the toes especially is an animal-based product. So a little bit more about my neuropathy appointment was that went pretty well. I did find out that I was suffering from some neuropathy type symptoms. We took off the shoes, we analyzed my feet. The doctor did say I was suffering from a little bit of athlete's foot, not too bad compared to what I'm used to. And yeah, we're just gonna have to work with that. I did go out and get some medicine to take care of the athlete's foot. I've also been using coconut oil to help kind of wean it down. He said that's not going to really work that well for athlete's foot, but it helps a little bit. It does work for various other types of prevention if you don't have it. So using a little bit of coconut oil, just get it in your hands and just put it on your parts wherever you need it. Does tend to be helpful, and it has been something I've been using throughout this entire journey. But he was taking this little tiny brush. It was just like a little tool, almost like a toothpick tool, that had a little brush similar to what you would find on the bottom of a broom, and he was just tapping around on my foot trying to figure out where my sensation was lost and stuff like that. Now, since I've been using the vibration plate, I have gained a little bit of movement, a little more movement in my foot. And what got me all freaked out, and I was so scared, I was just freaked out last week trying to figure out all this. I did not want to hear that I had some debilitating type of disease. So we did do a lot of blood work and stuff like that to hopefully rule out any other possible situations that could come along with whatever I got going on. But the nice thing about it is the entire time I've been doing this weight loss journey, I have had a really, really good blood sugar. So right now at my last visit, we talked about, my blood sugar and my LDLs and cholesterol and all that. And he's looking at it and he's like, well, your cholesterol really isn't bad compared to what a lot of other people do. And we kind of both came to the consensus is that your cholesterol gets really out of whack if you're adding in a whole bunch of nonsense like, processed foods. And then you're trying to do, because if you don't do a carnivore diet and actually do it, you're really not going to see the benefits. So if you're trying to do a carnivore diet and you're just eating a lot of meat, and then you add in a lot of extra processed foods, or you're jumping on and off the wagon throughout the week, you're really not going to be getting the benefits of what the carnivore diet could provide for most people and has provided for thousands, if not millions of people already. And now he did look back through my records before about my blood sugar, and I believe he said my highest was 5.5 that it's ever been. And that was before I even started losing weight. So even then, I wasn't even in, categorized as diabetic, having diabetic issues to create a neuropathy type symptom. So yeah, we're definitely on the playing field of looking at being chronically inflamed as the result of what created this neuropathy in my feet. That and lack of movement. I got seriously lazy for a long time. I was laying around. I wasn't doing much. When you do that, your legs just lose flexibility and stuff like that. But the vibration plate, almost immediately, after the first day, I was able to get up and get out and walk some more with the vibration plate. And I was doing it in a comfortable way at the end of the day, which is strange for me because I don't like moving at the end of the day. And then as a few days went on using the vibration plate, something I did notice as well, which has to do with my neuropathy, and this is another thing that I got the vibration plate for, was one of them was the lymphatic drainage and stuff like that. I was trying to provide more healthy lymphatic drainage. I was also trying to regain the feeling in my feet. I didn't understand, why my toes, I couldn't move my toes anymore. I definitely couldn't spread my toes anymore. And yeah, that was part of my anxiety flare up for the week. And I was just going nuts. And on top of that, with the sleep study, everything this week was just total chaos. And then trying to figure out, shopping trips. We're trying to get back on our feet with a lot of the bills and stuff like that. And it just seems like one thing comes right after the other. So we're just trying to deal with everything the best we can. So what did I eat this week? Well, this week's been a little bit different. I also did a live stream video on how I make these pickled eggs. So if anybody's interested in that, you can just check some of my live feeds. This video will pop up if you want the recipe, and it's just a basic recipe. You can add or take out whatever you want. But yeah, I made these on the live stream. They're pickled eggs. Since the video, I did add some more dill. I didn't have enough dill, and I added a little bit more vinegar just to top it off because you want the eggs to be down below that level. And we're just going to let these sit until next week, and we'll probably pull these out and show these off a little bit and see how they turned out after a little bit of time goes on. And you want to leave these in the fridge for at least 7 days before you even start getting into them. Now if you can leave them in there for about a month, they're going to be amazing. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind when making pickled eggs or anything like that. So okay, some of the foods I had to eat this week, like in the beginning of the week, I was still sticking with mainly 80-20 burger type patties. We did have some pork ribs this week. I did go out and buy some reindeer sausage. I've gotten into that since I started experimenting with priming and stuff like that. Today I'm thawing out the what is it called, the stew meat, and we're gonna get that cooked up and see what we can do with that. But yeah, pretty much it's just been meats and fats. I've also had some eggs and a little bit of dairy, but not a whole lot. I'm trying to really stay out of the dairy. And this fruit basket over here, this thing here, I just need to forget that's even there. I even thought about trying to move it to a different room, but we're kind of cramped for space here. We don't have a whole lot of room to put anything anywhere. So it's just going to have to sit right there. And I'm going to have to stay the heck out of it because that's about the only way I'm going to manage this and get it to work the way I need it to work. Now, another application we've been using to hopefully keep our family a little bit healthier, and it's becoming a lot of a frustration type topic, especially for my wife. Now, my wife is used to, just eating a really inexpensive type diet, and it's the diet we used to live off of before, which is just buying like boxed macaroni and cheese, a bunch of canned foods and stuff like that. Now this is stuff we've been doing for the majority of our life, and that's how we kind of got in this situation in the first place. But an application I've been using is called the Bobby Approved application. I would highly recommend it. It's extremely helpful, even if you're not on a carnivore diet, because it does help you try to sort through all the nonsense type items out there. And if it says Bobby approved, yeah, the chances are I'll pick it up for the family, because it's already a little bit healthier product than some of the other products we might find. But now my wife, when she's wandering through the store, she is absolutely losing her freaking mind when using this application, because it just seems like everything she scans, which is quite often a lot of the items that she would normally think were a little bit more healthy, and then she'll scan that item and all of a sudden it just says not Bobby approved, and it'll give you a laundry list of reasons why. And the worst products are typically in red, the questionable products are usually in yellow, and then the green products, it's like, yeah, this is good stuff here. But it's just horrible when we go out throughout the store. And I mean, she's a wonderful person, and she's really trying, she's struggling just like me, trying to find better options for her, trying to find options that the kids will actually eat, because it's hard to get the kids to eat anything healthy these days, because we're surrounded by sugar and products that are just full of a bunch of crap. And then when you try to feed them something healthy, they taste it and they're like, oh, it just doesn't have enough flavor for me. There's something wrong with it. So yeah, the process of actually getting out, shopping, and getting something worthwhile to bring home to your kids is a definite struggle in trying to get your children to wean away from all the unhealthy products that we've fed them over the years. I'm not sure how you guys are handling that. I don't know if it's a great idea just to remove all the products from the house, because an immediate transition typically doesn't work out too well. And we all know how we were when we were kids. If you were to take something away dramatically like that, as soon as we're allowed to get out of the house, we're going to automatically rebel, and we're going to do the exact opposite. So trying to transition into a healthier type lifestyle is something I am really struggling with, and I'm not sure how to handle it 100%. But we're definitely giving it a shot. We're not giving up on our children. And yeah, it's a lot of work. All right, some of the off-scale victories I've had this week have been pretty impressive off-scale victories. Like I said, I had 2 of those doctor's appointments. One of them I did get a prescription for topical nail fungus type treatment. Now, one of my toenails that has toe fungus has actually started to regrow a healthy nail, and I heard that is a side effect of eating carnivore type way, taking out all the sugars and all the soybean oils and stuff like that. So I have one toenail that is actually coming back to life, and I was pretty excited about that. But I have other nails that I've had issues because I've had ingrown toenails. I've had some nails that have fallen off from construction work and stuff like that throughout my life. So yeah, toenail fungus has been a problem, and we're trying to get that sorted out without using any other type products that you would ingest. And those products typically attack your liver, so I'm trying to stay away from those if possible. But as I was leaving the pharmacy, the pharmacist was like, hey man, you haven't gotten an inhaler for quite some time. Do you need to get a new inhaler? Do you got enough, or do we need to call the doctor? They try to be helpful. But the thing is that I haven't needed that inhaler since I started losing weight and since I started on the carnivore diet. And that was a big deal. That's a huge deal for me, because I always had to make sure that I had that inhaler in my backpack everywhere I went, especially when I went out to work. So if I started doing anything strenuous outside, I would lose my breath, especially when it was cold and dry. And I would have to use a couple puffs on that inhaler and then kind of calm myself down a little bit, and then hopefully get on with the rest of my workday. So yay. I don't really need the inhaler. I still carry it just for emergencies, because it might not be useful just for me. It could be useful for somebody else that's suffering a similar issue. So it's always good to have these things on hand, especially when you're working out here in cold Alaska. Now, another off-scale victory that I had, and this just happened the other day. I believe it was yesterday, for instance. I went out shopping with my daughters. I took them out for a ride, my 2 young daughters. We went to Walmart. This is something I normally wouldn't do. I normally have to ask my wife for help, especially going out on shopping trips like this. Now, I've been trying to change my, parental type ways, spend more time with my kids, be more active with my kids, actually do something with my kids, besides discipline them, because that's not the best way of being a father. And yeah, I decided I was going to take them all by myself on a shopping trip, which was not like me because before my anxiety was so high. I couldn't get in or out of the stores without rushing in. Like I'd have to run in the store, grab what I wanted, and I'd forget 20 other things. And then I'd run right back out of the store. But this time was different. This time me and the daughters loaded up in the Jeep, and they love the Jeep. They love the old Jeep. It's an old 2000s Jeep. It's not very big. It's easier to put my one daughter in through the back door because the back seat's right there. You don't realize how small these Jeeps are until you open the back door and you actually see the back seat in your face. But yeah, I'd toss her in the back. She'd get all buckled up, and then my other daughter would sit in the front seat. But yeah, we got to the store. We kind of took our time this time walking around Walmart. There was a lot of stuff in there that I was trying to buy. Redmond salt for one. They didn't have any. I was looking for different types of Kinder sauces for the family. And once in a while, I might use a Kinder sauce on my burgers or whatever. And but I try to keep that down to like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons whenever I'm doing it that way. But yeah, we walked around the entire store. We did wind up purchasing some items for one of my nephews. And this is not like me. This is not something I would normally do. Yeah, I've been pretty bad at neglecting things like that. And children's events, especially the ones that are directly involved in my family, because when you're morbidly obese for so long, you tend to retreat inside yourself and you forget about everybody else around you because you're so focused on if you're going to pass away or what's going to happen next, or you're just trying to plan out your day because you're lacking mobility, you're lacking the the oomph to get up and do things. And I was definitely lacking the oomph to actually get up and do things, get motivated, clean the house, do the dishes, get out of the house for a change. And I used to be extremely active before all this. I was always on the go. I'd go for hikes in the woods. I'd go hunting. I'd go fishing. I'd do more fishing than hunting because a lot of hunting requires a lot of extra effort. And trying to hunt here in Alaska is difficult because we have a lot of tall brush. And it's really hard to figure out where you're going if you cannot see where the mountains are, because if you don't have a compass, north, south, east, and west doesn't really make a difference. And it's not like other places in the world where the sun is always, rising on one aspect and then setting on the other, because the sun sets in different locations all throughout the year. Wintertime and in the summertime. Sometimes the sun doesn't come up and sometimes the sun never goes down. So it's really hard to find your bearings, especially when you're stuck in a lot of tall trees. But okay, guys, I do appreciate you guys for listening to this week's weight loss update or weight gain update. Yeah, 4 point something pounds. I'm not going to sweat it. It is what it is. It comes along with doing priming. And next week, things I'm looking forward to is I'm actually going to start doing some fasting, and the priming aspect is actually getting me set up. Hopefully, I got a gut full of actual nutritious type meats, and that'll make me going into some fasting days in this next week. So I am expecting some weight loss for next week. So stick around and hopefully we'll find out something interesting. And again, until next time, guys. This is a huge piece of frozen meat. I don't even know what I'm going to do with this. I really should have taken it out beforehand and divided it up a little better.